Why are all the best shows cut short? Like, honestly, some of the most brilliant sitcoms
What have I done? Made a freaking Frankenstein, man.
known to television history were canceled before reaching their full potential.
Great that he got a celebrity, but why reshoot everything?
Perfectionism. The team's production has taken over the entire school.
From
Classes are shut.
rapid-fire workplace comedies to cult classic young adult dramas.
My dad couldn't always give us what we wanted, but he would always do his best.
Hey, Dad.
I'm really proud of you for getting 100 on that test. So, here you go.
Legendary titles like NBC's Freaks and Geeks,
Be prepared to have your mind blown.
surviving only its pilot season. Fox's Arrested Development for 5 seasons.
I should have been here. Excuse me.
And NBC's other iconic, underdeveloped classic sitcom,
Okay, well, how about
The Good Place. A truly one-of-a-kind show that takes narrative depth to a complete other level. Running for 4 seasons, totaling only 53 episodes,
Awesome! I'm going again.
no?
blends dynamic characters,
Oh, hi, dipshirt.
plot twists,
Michael, a demon has infiltrated the group.
and consistent witty one-liners
Welcome to my pizza place.
Thanks, Denise.
And here's one for you. Have a nice day.
to create a project like no other.
Oh, let's keep this party going.
What now, huh? Want to hit the clubs?
The Good Place serves as a beautiful case study on the human condition.
Apparently the bad place.
Regardless of its lighthearted comedy
Sadistic
core,
agent of evil might just be the single most dangerous creature in the universe.
Who wants lemon bars?
the show provides valuable philosophical lessons on the many multifaceted intricacies of
And why do
modern
I
life.
sound like Janet? You also look like Janet. Do I? Why? What?
As we all know, diving into both morals and philosophy through the lens of the 21st century and the age of dopamine-centric social media is no easy task. But Michael Schur and The Good Place do this with ease.
So you're telling me I can't get any pancakes at this IHOP?
It's not the place you're thinking of. This is the interdimensional hole of pancakes. It's the crossroads.
Not
of all
only
dimensions.
making philosophy cool,
Aristotle was Plato's student, and Aristotle believes that your character is voluntary because it's
but
just
palatable to a younger generation who's used to breakneck pace humor and
Oh, I hate those shoes.
Oh, are we starting? Please.
All right, let's start with something.
eye-catching visuals.
Ah, Jesus.
Essentially, the show is about the afterlife.
Oh, fuck.
Where everything is dumbed down to a good place
Yes. Everyone has people that they're cosmically bound to,
and a bad place.
Something, Vicky something something. Can I braid your hair?
No, please. No, you know what? Okay.
Though viewers quickly find out that this simplicity was only a mirage for the iceberg of ideology and moral doctrine hidden beneath the crude humor.
You have made the insane choice to ignore the person who is literally trying to save you from eternal damnation.
No, yeah, I'm listening.
Our 4 protagonists each wake up learning they tragically passed away and that the moral maths of their actions in the living world have led them to the good place. But yeah, that's cap.
That's cap.
Taylor knew that.
That's cap. I accuse you of capping.
Eleanor, Shellstrop, Jason Mendoza,
If it doesn't work. Hey, we thought of everything except for an alibi and an escape route, but
Tahani,
Social
Al-Jamil,
activist, philanthropist, neck model, and now cover girl for International Sophisticate magazine. Tahani, welcome.
Oh, it's such an honor. I have long dreamt of being one of the women or yachts who goes
and Chidi, Anagonye,
I had a little trouble writing my speech. I wrote 11 different
all in
versions.
their own unique ways, probably should have been sent to the bad place.
Lululemon.
Okay, I mean, I get why explicit selfishness,
whale humper.
You know, I see you here all the time.
regularly
and-
taking advantage of people, and petty crimes or vandalism could make you a bad person.
this plan is foolproof. And when it's over, we can finally have the lives we deserve.
But like, how is debilitating indecisiveness
Oh boy, I mean, these run about 55 minutes apiece. I'm
or
really hot.
deep narcissism in any ways along the same line? But I guess they all terrible.
It really hurts my feelings.
Eleanor decides to fake it till she makes it, learning morality with her designated
Left
soulmate,
Aristotle in charge of ethics.
Chidi.
Plato.
Though many of the outrageous plot twists throughout each episode deepen the contextual relationship between each protagonist.
All right, nerds. Let's just get this over with. I'll go to the bad place with real Eleanor and you
What doesn't change is the fact that Eleanor grew to become a good person.
So I channeled all of my love for you into this song.
The literal antithesis of her first life, selfish Eleanor.
Watch. You exist. You don't exist. You're bothering me. Don't care if you die.
In many ways, that's the biggest lesson throughout the 4 seasons.
You're not going.
Not that one should focus all their energy on morally good action.
We're just kissing and groping.
Since the show has shown that our interconnected modern world essentially makes that impossible. But that the constant evolving of oneself to becoming that better version of ourselves should be the goal.
The added a 10th dimension.
I can't really drop the mic because it's on a stand. But
We are
yeah,
now waiting to see if Cardi B will raise.
But a good one. A happy stomach ache. This is new.
be glad we even ever got a show like The Good Place.
Am I wearing a vest? Who? Michael, help me!
This is going to be tricky. How do we even tell them apart?
Oh!
Okay, that one's Jason.
In a market when keeping advertisement-dependent broadcast networks profitable and culturally relevant in an ever-growing streaming era has been the make or break for many novel stories.
Classes are shut down. The quilting club is being forced to sew costumes.
2 females, both 5'10", 1 brunette, 1 with asthma.
He's also using the PA system for casting calls.
Imagine going up to producers and pitching this show in 2016. Alright, it's a little different. We got an idea. It's a single camera sitcom about the afterlife. Alright, hear me out. Following 4 very unlikable ordinary people.
Right as rain, Mikey, my boy. So, Chidi and I are
A self-serving, scamming alcoholic
cure Alzheimer's. Eleanor, we've got a surprise for
from
you.
Arizona.
Hey, babe, got your coffee?
Oh, great. Oh, Andy's coffee. We shouldn't go there. Everybody's boycotting.
Yeah, I know. That one guy found a scorpion in his latte. I don't really care though, because it's so
A
close to
Filipino criminal from Jacksonville
Transfer 131 million British pounds to the account of...
riding on his last brain cell at most
We're
times.
supposed to shut down the bank if anyone from Florida even walks in.
An aristocratic Brit of Indian descent who rubs elbows with the rich and famous.
I also dabbled in some other professions. I was a model, a museum curator.
With a bit of a sister complex.
Camilla, congratulations. You have all the attention.
And a profoundly uptight moral philosophy professor from Senegal, teaching out at Sydney, Australia.
In the chili pot, it makes it taste bad. I'm gonna eat all this.
Everything about this screams sitcom, everything, everywhere, all at once. Oh, and the antagonist? A hell-dwelling demon assuming human form with the most devious occupation known to mankind.
No.
Architect.
It's just
Spectacular.
Janet?
Hi there. Ready to start building?
Yes.
I have some ideas for how to design a sort
The other is an otherworldly supercomputer containing all the knowledge of the known universe,
Hello.
who gradually develops emotional capabilities after being
There
rebooted
have
a
been
few times.
25 generations of Janet. Each new update of Janet gains more wisdom and social abilities.
Don't you wish our phones could do that? A species-changing technological industry gone in an instant. Type. Wait, NBC still likes to pitch? I bet. The plot also radically shifts every couple of episodes,
Question about our plan to see James. Is there it yet?
as new serialized epiphanies happen in the narrative.
Holy.
But basically, we're gonna run the series through extensive discussions on moral philosophy coupled with social media-paced humor and dark satire scattered throughout.
Okay, you know what? Magic Pictionary is over now, so let's all go home and get some sleep.
You guys want me to kill it? I've shot a lot of racehorses.
Don't worry, it's about to be funny. Whoa, not the finale.
So, as I mentioned before,
I mean, we could just kill off all the main characters at the end of the show and call it a day. Oh, who stars in
It's
it?
been a tough couple.
How about the voice for Anna and
I've never
Frozen?
been better. This is so nice. Oh, I wish it could be like this all the time.
And remember Cheers from the 80s? Yeah, I was thinking the bartender. We got a deal?
Scrub Daddy, you suck.
Our show starts when Kristen Bell's Eleanor Shellstrop passes away in a freak accident and ends up in the good place, where all good-natured, virtuous people spend their afterlife.
Eleanor?
Even at the very start, viewers are hit with our first plot twist.
You like it?
Eleanor wasn't a good person at all, and quickly realizes that she doesn't belong.
Choosing a designated driver, and it's your turn.
Got it. Full disclosure, I forgot we were doing this new system.
Ted Danson's Michael, the ethereal architect for our protagonist, Lobby. The describes The Good Place as a series of distinct neighborhoods, each specifically pre-selected for the soulmate couples living inside,
Does everyone have a huge house except
blending
me?
together to form a blissful, harmonic balance of both lifestyles.
And, of course, you love clowns, so...
This take on the afterlife turns the whole idea into a seemingly idyllic semi-metro, semi-suburban neighborhood,
The Good Place is divided into distinct...
with an outrageous number of frozen yogurt shops.
Whoa, a lot of new flavors.
Michael felt bad about the sinkhole, so he wanted to give you all a little treat. I recommend full cell phone battery.
Yeah, should have been gelato if you ask me.
Making gelato is not just...
Michael then goes on to reveal the overarching theme of the plot, which is the point system throughout each human life, of which each action is given a score.
Good people. But how do we know that you were good? How are we sure? During your time on Earth, every one of your actions had a positive or a negative value, depending on how much good or bad that action put into the universe. Every sandwich you ate, every time you bought a magazine, every single thing you did had an effect that rippled out over time and ultimately created some amount of good or bad.
And those with sufficient scores ascend to the aforementioned good
years
place.
old. In many ways, Jason raised
In the
me.
show's universe, there's only the good and bad places.
Wait a minute. You know what? Holy smokes. This is the bad place. This is the bad place. This is the bad place.
And outside of Mindy St.
Well, given
Clair,
that she's the only person in the neighborhood, I'm guessing this is the place. Oh, she's naked. Ah! Oh, sorry.
shout out Cincinnati. There isn't a
Janet.
designated place for medium people.
We had Janet.
No matter how much Eleanor continues to float the idea.
This close to being dragged to hell and still horny.
This would then lead you to think the show believes that morality is in fact dichotomous, or rather purely between good or evil. Though this moral point system shows us otherwise, as each moral act is given a numerical value instead of a dichotomous good or bad label, if you will. Inherently, this design implies that in order to get into the good place, you don't necessarily have to be completely good. One could use the term bro code with intent and land yourself a negative 8.2
Bro
points.
will, whenever possible, provide his bro with protection.
Or, as mentioned in the show, overstate a personal connection to a tragedy that has nothing to do with you. Negative 40.57 points.
It's recorded and then sent here to be assigned.
You know how some
They
people
go
pull into
deep.
the breakdown lanes in traffic and they think to themselves, who cares? No one's watching. We were watching. Surprise!
All this to say, you can still get yourself out of a tricky situation by, let's say, hugging a sad friend. 4.98 points.
I thought I'd lost you.
I'll always find my way back to you.
On 10 separate occasions, that would theoretically net you the same score. But morally, we know that's not really how it works. There's not really any magnitude that comes into play. Like, yes, numerically this would make sense, but we know karmically they don't play like that. The premise of the show centered on Eleanor convincing Chidi, her ethics professor's soulmate, to teach her how to be a good person, so she can safely reside in the good place.
Every person gets to
Or
live in a home that
heaven.
perfectly matches his or her true essence.
Cool. So I guess that's why my house, for example, is this adorable little cottage, whereas other people might have homes that are bigger. Like that one.
Exactly. Oh, I'm so happy.
What sets apart The Good Place from other sitcoms like Parks and Recreation and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, both also created by Michael Schur. So yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Number one, could you please sing the opening to I Want It That Way?
Really? Okay. You are my fire.
Number two, keep it going.
The one desire.
Yes, these classics allow you to lay back and enjoy them without having to use your brain too much. But The Good Place, like many other modern IPs that
We
followed,
really want to upload? We could be together forever.
You're so amazing. But forever is just like so long.
urges viewers to think and makes you laugh at the same time.
Hello, Nathan. This is the first
This
day.
coexistence of light-hearted, wholesome humor and its thoughtful expedition of what it means to be a morally good person is unlike any show that has come before it, and is fundamentally its greatest strength.
When I say
Number four,
I want it that way.
tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why.
Having you be soulmates living next to each other. Next time, I'll spread you out as more of a slow
Even
burn.
though you might not think it, The Good Place stands as a gothic comedy benchmark of chipper American humor.
What are you doing?
Yes, you heard me right.
I'm sorry, are
Even
you
though
on some
not our generic gargoyle all-black aesthetic, the traditional gothic style encompasses a broad spectrum of cultural, artistic, and historical movements that celebrated drama, heightened emotion, and the supernatural. Flourishing in not only 12th to 16th century European architecture, but also emerging in 18th century Romanticism literature. This is exactly the style The Good Place embodies, portraying a profoundly uneasy fantasy of the afterlife as a mirror of the contemporary culture of digital monitoring that follows our protagonist beyond the grave. The narrative centered around a number of brilliantly executed plot twists, like when Jianyu reveals he's actually
You're
Jason.
not supposed to be here either. You're a mistake, just like me.
Yeah, and I'm freaking out, dog. There's so much thoughts in my brain, it's like my head is
Or when our lead figures out they've been in the bad place this entire time.
Wow.
It's clear early on that this uneasy humor has a lot to do with the contrast between two ideologies at the heart of the plot. That being between the moralistic spiritual quest for virtue and the supposed bureaucratic parody of the rules that govern the afterlife. In season 3, we find out nobody's gotten into the good place in more than 500 years.
I finally know what it is. Life now is so complicated. It's impossible for anyone to be good enough for the good place.
Bleeding from the afterlife's flawed point system
to remain impartial,
as an innocent action such as buying an apple from Whole Foods results in a long list of negative points, since the world has gotten incrementally more convoluted. Michael's monologue in the episode The Book of Dugs exemplifies this dilemma perfectly.
There is another explanation. Unintended consequences of Tahani. In 1534, Douglas Weingart of Hawkhurst, England, gave his grandmother roses for her birthday. He picked them himself, walked them over to her. She was happy. Boom, 145 points. Now, yeah, here we go. In 2009, Doug Ewing of Skaggsville, Maryland, also gave his grandmother a dozen roses, but he lost 4 points. Why? Because he ordered roses using a cell phone that was made in a sweatshop. The flowers were grown with toxic pesticides, picked by exploited migrant workers, delivered from thousands of miles away, which created a massive carbon footprint, and his money went to a billionaire racist CEO who sends his female employees pictures of his genitals.
Lovely.
Jesus Christ.
Don't you just love the way the show's writers' brains work?
All right, here comes the boom. Oh wait, actually, before I absolutely...
People haven't been getting into heaven since, as Tahani puts it,
Backfires. There are so many unintended consequences to well-intentioned actions. Feels like a game you can't win.
exactly. This observation is critical from Schur of exactly what it's like to live in this highly globalized 21st century world that we do. Each one of us can try our best to moderate these unintended consequences, but it's ultimately futile, as the global economy has become an interdependent gargantuan independent from its consumers. Just like climate change, the show urges each of us to minimize our own individual effect as much as we can, even if no one individual could completely avoid having a negative impact on the environment. After Michael realizes the faults of his demonic ways, because really anything could happen in this universe.
Humans think that they're making one choice, but they're actually making dozens of choices they don't even know they're making.
He attempts to help our fated four try to tweak the
Judge
afterlife.
agreed that the four of you don't need to take the test.
Gotta love the audacity.
Saving every soul in the universe is worth a few points.
Their new take was to put new arrivals through a series of tests which present them with the opportunity to better themselves while providing them the right tools to do so.
Well, we gave it our best shot, guys.
Once point totals are improved to a certain degree, they're then allowed into the good place. But even before the twist, in my head it's like, doesn't that defeat the purpose? Intent is everything. And they quickly find out that doing good deeds strictly for the sake of earning points doesn't actually earn you points.
I mean, I have to keep
Having to come from a place of true altruism. Let's come back to Eleanor. Back on Earth, her childhood neglect by her parents led her to grow up to be ultra-independent to the point of being self-centered and rude.
Scare them into buying fake allergy medicine. I get it, man. Which one's my desk?
That one, over there.
Having an I don't really owe you anything attitude
You guys don't
throughout the
have
flashbacks in the show.
Time to pick a designated driver. And the loser is... Let's see.
Wait, you never get picked and you're always the one who draws the name. Let me see that.
There's no need.
But in the
Can I ask
afterlife,
you something? Why are you helping me?
Well, Chidi made a very good argument.
thanks to her friendships with Tahani, Jason, and Chidi, she receives the support system and love she lacked in her previous life,
So I now know all the information about the good place. In a nutshell, it slaps.
and truly strives
That's our
to
decision.
become a
Let's hit it.
better person.
What about real Eleanor?
No, it's me and Chidi. Call the train.
According to this new system from
That's problem
Michael,
number one. Life is chaotic and messy and unpredictable.
You can't really hold it against Eleanor, who didn't have the access to love that's crucial in prompting moral growth.
Whatever little group you formed, because they're all.
It's less about who people are and more about what they're capable of doing.
Everything that happened in your life from your point of view.
With the right help.
We know everything.
Philosophy. Our architect puts
We've
it
been asking
best.
the wrong question. What matters isn't if people are good or bad. What matters is if they're trying to be better today than they were yesterday. You asked me where my hope comes from.
Michael, soon to be
Even if you
ruined.
do somehow manage to make good decisions, you still lose points because of the unintended consequences.
Yeah, there are booby traps everywhere. Like, there's this chicken sandwich that if you eat it, it means.
558
or 69 or 420.
Throughout its ephemeral 4 seasons, The Good Place constantly makes us shift perspectives when it comes to age-old moral concepts.
This is the bad place.
What society thinks as a fire pit of perpetual doom, the show expresses as a suburban oasis, with fake inhabitants all around.
No, every neighborhood is unique.
What we think is infinite bliss and ecstasy with heaven actually turns out to be a grand contradiction in and of itself.
We're in paradise. Surely some people here are enjoying themselves.
Hey guys, I'm back. Go-karting with monkeys got boring really fast.
It did.
Towards the end of the series, when our 4 finally get to the actual good place, there's still one problem.
Little update. The Good Place is a disaster. Everyone here is a happiness zombie, and no one is doing anything about
It
it.
turns out, the good place isn't really all that.
Because by the time they realize it's happening, everyone is too
This
far gone to care.
infinite loop of joy and lack of consequences has essentially turned the brains of our inhabitants to Play-Doh. Because apparently having the ability to do anything you could ever possibly want is a complete implosion of your brain. Go figure. When Chidi speaks to Hypatia of Alexandria, she lets us in on the deal.
On paper, this is paradise. All your desires and needs are met, but it's infinite. And when perfection goes on forever, you become this glassy-eyed mush person.
You get here and you realize that anything's possible. And you do everything, and then you're done. But you still have infinity left. This place kills fun, and passion, and excitement, and love. Until all you have left are milkshakes. Yeah, it's like summer break when you were a kid. You look forward to it all year long, planning out in your head everything you want to do and everyone you want to see. But then the first week of summer hits and your nervous system just wants to wrap yourself in a blanket and binge something on Netflix. And I'm translating for y'all young folk. For us, it was more red box and split screen tournaments. The good old days. Speaking of our anxious, indecisive philosophy professor, Chidi Anagonye, arguably the most moral of our group of degenerates, was a professor of ethics and moral philosophy who spent his entire life in pursuit of absolute moral truth, agonizing over every little decision. He's strictly Kant, and not the British derogatory term. I'm talking Immanuel Kant, the German philosopher who argued that human reason is the foundation of both how we experience the world and how we determine our moral duties. These strict ideals caused Chidi to be paralyzed by the thought of even telling a simple white lie. It makes everyone around him utterly miserable, even though in his heart he's just trying to do the right thing.
There's an issue there
Like most of us, if we had someone in our lives like Chidi, the most natural reaction would be to tell him to chill the fuck out. The show argues that even with these moral high grounds in mind, his particular way of living is impossible to keep up. And it's not actually helping him become a better person. Ergo, why he too joined the rest of our misfits. Even from the first shot of Eleanor in the waiting room, The Good Place tries to help viewers come to terms with the fact that there are gray areas all throughout life.
I have some questions.
Nothing feels black and white, and everybody just needs to find their own ways, and maybe that's okay. I mean, definitively there are good actions and bad actions. And to some extent, I think everyone with a frontal lobe can use common sense and basic rules to figure those things out. But there's still so much that's left in the gray. Most people aren't really comfortable with this gray area of life. It's unknown, confusing, and at times difficult to maneuver across. Most of us like to know the right answer, and to know that we're doing the right thing. But Chidi shows us that it's unsustainable to torture yourself over every single little outcome. Eleanor would probably say, God might be okay with it if we just chilled out a bit. Since what's the point of life if you're not enjoying it? Psst, I got you with the cheat sheet. There is none. Even if most of us don't know Kant, we do know of his most famous concept, categorical imperative, or simply the idiom or biblical golden rule, Do to others as you would have them do to you. One more time for the ones in the back. Oh, y'all got it? All right. Our first lesson right off the bat after the pilot is of connecting with people who are different from you, but whom are able to make you a better person.
Janet?
For our leads, that was their soulmates, Chidi and Eleanor, and Tahani and Jason.
Family member?
Both couples completely different from one another.
Tell Michael about this.
Tell Michael about what?
Michael, hi! What have you been up to?
Eleanor?
But still, able to better the other half in becoming better versions of themselves. And in some ways, isn't that what we're all trying to find?
What the fork is a Chidi?
Towards the end of the finale, Chidi pleads Sean, our all-knowing eternal judge, that all of the bad actions on Eleanor's record were performed by the old her. She's changed, Chidi urges, and he can't be more right. Eleanor has become a completely different person. She's used to being a self-centered, manipulative scumbag. Now she's not only casually quoting Immanuel Kant without making a joke, but volunteering to sacrifice herself for her friends. No hesitation. Blonde Katniss Everdeen over here. Is exactly what I thought when I first watched this, by the way. This genuine selflessness could have never came out of Earth Eleanor, and we can all learn a little from her journey. No matter how messed up a person you think you are, newsflash, it's never too late to change. If a demonic entity from literal hell can become a living embodiment of morality, and even Eleanor didn't change until halfway through her afterlife, so you're fine, relax. As she puts it, Pobody's nerfect.
Pobody's nerfect?
Every single one of us are redeemable. That's how we're built. And it's kind of comforting imagining the afterlife as a waiting room for a specialist office.
You, Eleanor Shellstrop.
And everything's going to be fine. Go Jaguars!
Take my credit card to the
You don't want to be Jason, but you want your spirit animal to be Jason on Super Bowl Sunday. A sight to see.
She likes the impressionist paintings, right?
He's strictly cunt, not cunt. What matters is if they're trying to be better today than they were tomorrow. But Michael Schur and the good plate, yes, the good plate, fill it up, vegetables. Can't help but feeling mistreated. They sleep on my shit and then tell me to drop. I don't see the reason. My missus runs like a chief. Together we getting mischievous. The bottom is way lonelier than the top, but these bitches ain't seen it. Stop that. Stop it, please. You more concerned what others earn. That says a lot to me. The game is changing. I do the best that I can to attain it. If we gotta gamble, I bet on myself. All the other shit dangerous. I just made a way for myself from out west in my grandmama's basement, so I think you a whole should bow in the presence of greatness. Let's go!